Hello and welcome to Open Boosters. Here we go. We're going to open up an entire case of Uprising. Oh, so good. So exciting. Here we go. Now, the reason this has come to pass is because people have joined the Flesh and Blood community. Cool, right? Oh, I should probably go to the down cam even though there's nothing there. Well, I'll just cut the box first. So, full case. 4 were sold, and now what's really happening here is that people have decided to join the Flesh and Blood community and paid $17.50. I'm going to pull every single foil out for myself, and then I will send the rest of the cards to them for $17. I think that's a pretty good deal. And so now there should be something, well, soon as I can. There we go. Da-da-da-da. So 4 boxes, and they will get all the contents that are not. All right. So I pull out all the nice stuff, and then they have a nice pile of cards to work with. That's what it's all about. And this is a good idea for new players, I think, because then they'll have a bunch of commons, a bunch of things that they don't need to get. All right. So this is me experimenting to see if we can get some more people into Flesh and Blood. And so 4 boxes were sold. All right. Here we go. It likes Fable Hunter top. Without destroying the box. Out. No. Oh well. I'll get better. For sure. Line them all out. These over here. And put these. They're so slippery. They are very slick, even though these are recyclable. I love the fact that these are recyclable. All right. Here we go. Made a giant mess. Dun, 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 dun. Uprising. All right, here we go. Now, I have the volume on my phone turned up. That's because I'm waiting for something specific. All right. All right. You know what? I need to put the trash can over here every single time I throw it the wrong direction. All right, here we go. Da-da-da-da. Are we focused? We are. Okay, good. Da-da-da-da. Oops, we're doing this way wrong. My bad. All right. See, they'll get the rares. I'm going to put these down here. Actually, yeah, I'm going to put these down here. I get the foil, the Skittering Sands. Soaring the Skies. So they get everything that is not foiled. Oops, I'm not doing this right at all. I was looking down. All right. There we go. Okay. Next pack will be better. Unfortunately, people will still text me. The Hasbro thing is going to go on today, and I don't want to miss it. So I'm trying to keep alert. All right, line it up. Straight in, burn away. There we go. And they actually get the rewind. There we go. And I get Brand the Cinder Claw. Nice bolt. Bolt. Rising. Skin. Hoping to keep these all straight. But I figure this is a great way to actually bring people in to Flesh and Blood. You know? So I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try it. Doesn't hurt if it doesn't hurt me so bad, you know. We're going to give it a good go. Rapid reflexes. Oh, there we go. Foil Majestic Nightmare. You know. I'll put these up here just because they're out of their pile. So that means I can put these rares up here. Ash. Wing. Phoenix Flame. All right. This is going to take a while. Sit back and relax. All right. Then we have Transmogrify and Invoke Miraji. There you go. Sigil of Protection. Go. Ice Eternal and a rare Dampen. Dun, dun, dun. Whipping Blow. Frostbite. Oh, there we go. All right. Yeah, I'm waiting for the Hasbro talk and hoping that things come out of there. Seeing what happens. There we go. A mythic hypothermia. Hypothermia. Me and my pronunciations. Learn to read. All right. Bolts. And the group text is going wild. Everybody's excited. Now, if I'm still opening when it goes off, then yeah, you'll probably hear it. But it's nothing you shouldn't hear anyways. I'm just going to be listening to it. Right. Home of Firebrand. Brain Freeze. There you go. How's everybody doing today? Are you doing good? Sift. Thought there would be Majestic. Icebind. The Hail. Wing and buy. Starts at 11. As I said, this will be a long opening. Since I'm not going fast. Ah, there we go. Combustion point. There we go. Billion. I like it when they're back to back. That's the best one. They're just going to town over here. Oh, that is a text message I need to look at, unfortunately. We'll do this one, and then I will pause. Terrible. That's not there. Okay. All right. Let me just take a look. Okay. There. Done. If I can leave that in, I'm not worried about it. Nobody saw anything. And you can tell I communicate with long, melodramatic sentences. Dust chap. All right. I'm not sure what they're going to actually say. I'm actually just kind of curious. There you go. Why put that there? Oh, I know. Because you should do that. All right, there we go. Might have to do this in multiple videos. Even though it's still, well, I mean, I can do it. I mean, it's okay. I may be going slow, but, oh, there we go. Mounting anger. There we go. Snap. All right. There's the cold foil. Common, of course. But conduit, frostburn. There we go. It's a great cold foil. Look at that. Now I keep that. Correct, bobble. I like the cold foil artworks. They're fantastic, regardless of what, I mean, even though that's a common cold foil, still, it really looks awesome. go. Spreading flames. But this will mean that there's more, if more people try to start the game, then there'll be more box openings and that kind of stuff. Realistically, this is really only for people who have, don't, oh, right, there you go. Channel the Bleak Expanse. Nice. People who haven't had a chance to do this, it gives them a nice way to get in. For not a bunch of money. Gives them a little bit of a hard deal, I guess. Now, whether I do this long term or not is debatable. I've only got 9 more cases left at this price point, but I can change that anytime. Anytime. Dampen. So if you want to get in on it, it's not going to get any lower. Guaranteed that. The only difference is you don't get any of the points. That's the only difference. All you got. There it is. And Brothers in Arms. But as you can see, you get a lot of mythics, which is good. Majestics. Oh my god. Did I say mythics? Come to winter. You get a lot of rares. And it's a nice entry point. You can test out whether you like it or not. Rapid reflexes. Rain freeze. Dampen. Ah. There you go. Engulfing flame. Oh, nice. There you go. That's good. Like I said, those are the best. You get them both back to back. My opinion. My opinion. Scar for a scar. planning. Oh, there you go. Nominania. All right. There you are, sir. That's a good one. Let's project it there. Boom. Phoenix Flame. All right. I think we already got one, but I'm not sure. Phoenix Flame. Sorry, my bad. Heat Wave. Wow. All right, and that is it then. Hopefully I didn't miss anything. Didn't get a marble. Huh. It's all right. I'll check it before I send it. All right. That was this opening. We're going on the next. Dun, dun, dun. I know I would have recognized it. Unless I didn't for some reason. Weird. It's right there. Nope. All right. Well, I'll search these out later. Here are the common foils. My 3 Majestic. Only 4 rares, foils. And the cold foil. For those of you who skipped to the end of a box opening. All right. On to the next box. All right. How much time we have? All right, 8 minutes. 8 minutes till it begins. Nice casual opening. There we go. Oh, we did that one really well. All right. Now, let's see if we can actually make this stack like it should. Got one. Got two. Yahoo! Jackpot. Let's get out of here. All right. Wonder what the legendary will be in the case. All right. So we have Sift, Rampant Reflexes, and Ether Ice Vein. I'm going to keep what they're getting in the Mounting Anger. Ooh, right. There we go. I'm a Firebrand. Slender, Ice-Wing. Succumb to Winter. Even though you've seen the back already. And then Succumb to Winter. Nice. Phoenix Flame. Golden Flame. Strategic Planning. Dune Breaker Senpai. All right, what we got? 4 minutes. Hopefully we'll be able to listen to it. Already logged in. Oh, there we go. Double strike. Nice. There we go. Oh, yeah, and I got to rewind. Nice little rewind there. Nope. All right. All right. Weather Vane. Flex. Healing Bomb. It's the bomb. So do you think this is a good idea or a bad idea for people who purchase the product? It's a good question. Probably should do this in a live stream. Probably be better. There we go. We got our rainbow foil stash of Zendikar. Rise from the ashes. Rise from the ashes and rise up. Nice. Right back to back. I like that. That's pretty fun. All right. And then Dune Breaker. That's a little bit of brain freeze. But eating that ice cream, dude. Phoenix. Critical strike. Fighting spirits. Strategic planning. Trade it in. Oh, where'd he go? At some point, I expect them to like put a gun pack in one of them, you know, like all mythics or something. That'd be fun. Oh, there we go. Liquefy. A little bit too fast there. We got our other vein right there. Another one. This one will be a good box. One of them. Dun-dun-dun-dun. Well, here's our cold foil. Dun, dun, dun. Silent stilettos. Still, see how they put the effort into these things? That's what I love about it. It's like good. Still a common, but still good. Oops. Oh. Come on. Should be going now, right? Is it not working? Come on. All I got is a Hasbro screen. Breakpoint. Okay, come on, guys. You don't require me to log in again? Hold on.
Today. These disclosures are available at ubs.com/disclosures, or please reach out to me and I can provide them to you after this call. Also, there will be no discussion of any confidential, restricted, or material non-public information on this call. This is only a 30-40 minute call, so we might not have time to open the lines for Q&A, but feel free to send me questions by email if we don't address them on the call. With all of that out of the way, Chris, Cynthia, Debbie, welcome, and thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks for having us, RP Nick.
Thanks. Wonderful.
It's great to be here.
Thank you, Debbie. And I know you need to
Looks like I
read
didn't
some
miss anything.
disclosures before we begin. Is there?
I also have to do a short disclosure. So thank you for having us today. Just before we begin, I want to remind everyone that we may make some forward-looking statements. Our management team may make forward-looking statements concerning our expectations, goals, objectives, or similar matters, and that there are many factors that could cause actual results or events to differ materially from the anticipated results or other expectations expressed in these forward-looking statements. And the factors are in our annual report, our most recent 10Q, and other public disclosures. And we undertake no obligation to update any forward-looking statements made today to reflect events or circumstances occurring after the date of this webcast.
Obviously.
Fantastic. Thank you, Debbie. Chris, why don't we start with you? You've been CEO of Hasbro since February. Obviously, unprecedented times, middle of a global pandemic, supply chain challenges and disruptions. But as we look forward, could you please update us on Hasbro's kind of branded entertainment strategy? How is that different from what that strategy was before?
Ooh,
Yeah.
there for
Well,
you.
hey, first off, thanks so much for having
Oh,
us.
there we go.
It's great to be on
That's
and
nice.
be able to share a little bit of insight on the company, and particularly one of our favorite brands, Magic the Gathering. I think Cynthia will have a wealth of information to share on that. So in terms of our corporate strategy, the new strategy that we rolled out in October, we call Brand Blueprint 2.0. It's a continuation and an evolution of the successful blueprint strategy that we've been deploying for a little over a decade. It's all around the concept of engaging and surrounding the consumer with a host of great play and storytelling experiences that build our brands, build our relationship with the consumer, and help us build a profitable and healthy business. Where I think the big points on the pivot on the strategy are in a couple areas. First off, we're shifting from a bit more of a breadth strategy with our old strategy to be more focused on a depth strategy. We call it fewer, bigger, better brands. Hasbro has over 1,500 IP in our portfolio, and we're really going to focus in on about 8 to 10 brands and really grow them. And those brands are going to be in places that we have a lot of strength with the company, gaming being a big one, where we believe we can be the leader in the category, where we can drive above category growth, and where we can drive really nice profit profiles over the mid and long term. The second aspect of the strategy is a focus on the consumer and really doubling down on our consumer insights, on understanding our consumers, and then also how we communicate with our consumers, increasing our A&P budgets, driving new and innovative experiences with the consumer, surrounding them with a host of engagement opportunities, whether that's big budget movies like we have with the upcoming D&D Honor Among Thieves movies, or great video games like we have with Magic the Gathering Arena. And then last but not least, the strategy is a focus on discipline, really driving incremental operational excellence as a company so that we can pair the fantastic creativity and design we have with stronger cost management. And we believe that we're going to be able to accrue significant value of that. In October, we talked about a goal to generate $250 to $300 million of cost savings annually over the next 3 years. We believe we're on track to do that and potentially even exceed that. And, I think that's just good business, whether or not it's healthy economic time or more challenging economic time. We position Hasbro to be able to invest in our brands and deliver more cash to shareholders. I think when you put it all together, what Blueprint 2.0 really is it's a redoubling and a refocusing on our traditional mission of play. Hasbro is going to celebrate our 100th anniversary next year. We have this portfolio of amazing brands, and we've built those brands through play, starting as early as the age of 2 to 3 and extending on into adulthood. And
there we go.
Blueprint 2.0 puts our focus squarely on our biggest brands with our best consumer insight and driving a little bit more discipline to pair with our great innovation and creativity.
Fantastic. That was great for opening, Chris. Thank you. Cynthia, as Chris mentioned, Hasbro has a strong gaming portfolio unparalleled really in the industry, making up a significant portion of profits for the overall company. Could we talk about your largest brand, Magic the Gathering? And could you start by giving us a brief overview of where that business is today? And then I have a quick follow-up for you, Cynthia.
Sure.
Well, thank you, Arpanay, for having us. First of all, it's my pleasure to talk about Magic. It is really an amazing game with an incredible fan base. Magic was created in 1993, and it's the world's first trading card game. Been played by over 50 million players to date in over 200 countries. The gameplay is highly strategic and customizable to any individual playstyle. Players take turns doing battle against each other by casting spells, summoning creatures, and using artifacts that are depicted on individual cards that the player draws from their personalized deck. Magic also offers multiple formats of play, which determine the types of cards or the number of cards a player uses in their deck. Some of those formats are more competitive, and some are more casual, which offers a wide variety of endless gameplay options. We release new cards through expansion sets multiple times a year, and there is really nearly a limitless combination that players can use to suit their different play styles, and that all leads to a very high level of customization by the player.
That's fantastic. Cynthia, when we think about Hasbro, we frequently think about kids, but Magic is not typically played by kids. What can you tell us and people on the call about the Magic player today and how that has been evolving?
Sure. We know a lot about our players. Multiple times a year, we survey tens of thousands of Magic fans on a variety of topics
Take that tempo
related to the game.
for Flesh and Blood.
The Magic active tabletop player, on average, is 30 years old. Players range from about 13 years old to over 45. I think it's important to know that 1/3 of our players have less than 3 years of experience with the game, and another third has been playing for more than 10 years. And so you end up with this wide range of engagement. We also look at how it might be played. We've seen growth in casual players, who we estimate represent about 80% of the player base, with the competitive player representing the remaining. And this single insight has really led to a major rethinking of our offering and how to serve our growing and more diverse player base. Players and fans participate across multiple segments, and they overlap. For example, in the casual segment, the format that's most popular and played by more than 70% of our players is a social format called Commander. It's played by 4 players at a time, and it has a really unique and cooperative rule set. And we do specific product releases to maximize this fan engagement. Over half of our players identify as social players, meaning that they enjoy the game for the social experience. And about 50% are collectors of some kind, whether it be buying the cards for a themed Commander deck, strictly for aesthetic purposes, or as an outlet for self-expression through their gameplay.
Self-expression.
Finally, I said we have over 10 million registered digital players with Magic Arena.
Oh yeah,
And in
one of
the
those.
past few years, our fastest growing category of Magic players are the hybrid players, meaning they play on both digital and tabletop.
Okay.
And this group tends to have the highest satisfaction rates with the game and the highest level of spending. In fact, they spend 40% more than the average revenue of Magic players across all expressions.
That was just great. I don't think I've ever heard this much of good color on kind of the player profile. So this was super helpful. Thank you. My next question is for both Chris and you, Cynthia. Chris, you were leading Wizards until earlier this year. Could you talk to us about how you grew that business? And then Cynthia, one of the key questions I get on Magic is that after an incredible run of 4 or 5 years of above average growth and arena rollout, that business is much bigger today. So if you were to recap what's next for Magic and how you grow that business going forward, because every gaming company
you contact Open Boosters and I tell you how to do it.
Seeing reversal of that. why could MPG be different, and how you intend to grow that business going forward?
Sure. So I'll start off. So, Magic has been, gosh, I would argue one of the biggest success stories in the games category over the last probably decade. I was fortunate enough to start in the business in 2016 after the business had grown, I think, for 7 straight years. We had started to see a little bit of a plateauing in that growth in 2014 and 2015. And so we started to really kind of understand, okay, why was that? And in 2016, when Magic, was probably around $350-ish million, maybe $400 million at that time, we really had a monolithic view of the player. We thought there was one player, it was the competitive player, and we knew that there were other player segments that existed, like casual players, collectors, but we honestly were a little afraid that if we built products that deviated at all from our traditional approach of appealing to the competitive player, that we would hurt the business. What we found was actually the opposite. If we were able to segment our player profiles in just really simple ways, so call it the competitive player, the social player, and the collector, and build products that were bespoke to each of them, we could make each of those segments happier. We could engage them more. We could get more of their time and, more of their share of wallet,
I get it.
and grow the business as a whole. And as a result, over that, intervening 6.5 year period, we probably either tripled or come close to triple the overall Magic business. And we've been able to do it across a wide set of products, a wide set of segments that have made the business healthier than ever. And we've been able to do it in a fairly balanced way, where we've been able to balance new player growth with lapsed player reacquisition, because there's probably like close to 60 million people in the world who have ever played Magic. So actually people coming back to Magic is just as important to us as new players who've never played it before, as well as driving a little bit of revenue growth per user through that segmentation approach, which has been good for us, and it's been good for our channel partners.
Okay, so they're just going to say random positives that aren't really quite true, but okay, I get it.
I don't know if
Yeah. I'd love to talk about a little bit about our plans to continue to grow Magic, especially in 2023 and beyond. And I will say we do have some good tailwinds that are aiding us. Primarily that we're seeing this bold return to in-person play. Magic really thrives on that face-to-face interaction that wasn't able to happen during the pandemic. Our in-store play participation numbers are trending up, and they're already back to about 75% of where they were pre-pandemic. We recently organized the largest ever in-person event in Magic's history. We had over 10,000 players gather in person in Las Vegas to kick off our 30th anniversary celebration.
Okay.
It was such an encouraging and fun fan event. And we plan on
That
having
is a major
more of those Magic Cons next year. Our first one will be in Philadelphia on February 17th through the 19th.
So they're thinking about this as forms of large
6
tournaments.
tentpole sets for several years. We'll do that again in 2023.
Yet sales are down.
Our new player acquisition strategy
So
focused on the Universes Beyond line. This year we have the Lord of the Rings as a big tentpole release, and we also have smaller sets like Doctor Who.
Las Vegas was successful.
Players.
Yes.
In future years, you'll see us do the same.
People showed up, but revenue is down because. No answer?
We'll be celebrating Magic's 30th anniversary with our fans. The Magic Cons I mentioned. We'll be releasing new products, and we're especially excited to help our trade partners and our fans by offering exclusive promo cards from each year of Magic.
Well, that's
that
about
will be
time.
available exclusively through our Wizards Play Network stores.
Okay.
With every tentpole set release. Magic is bigger than it's ever been. It's on pace to become Hasbro's first $1 billion brand.
Okay.
And our surveys show that our Net promoter score globally has increased to the highest point it's been at in the past 3 years.
So they're going back to promos, which is good for gameplay. I
Thank
like
you.
that.
That's very helpful.
That'll help
Cynthia,
with
maybe this is a question for you
LGSs and growth like
regarding
that.
Arena, which has been obviously a huge success.
Rainbow.
I remember back in the day before MTG digitization, the big pushback or concern for investors was whether there was going to be cannibalization of that business once you go digital. And now we know it was actually additive
We got our
to the business.
another
But my question
foil token.
is there more to
Someone
do
be a little bit
in
better in
terms
this
of
box, but there you go.
monetizing kind of the digital aspects of the Magic franchise?
Still a beautiful card, nonetheless.
Absolutely. As I mentioned earlier, our hybrid players are the most engaged and they spend the most. So our efforts around Magic Digital will drive increased play and integration across both tabletop and our digital platform. Wizards Play Network stores are telling us that they see new players coming into their store who are ready to join that community after they learn to play Magic on Arena. So Magic the Gathering
actually
Arena
true.
has been a great success for us, but it still has room to grow as we continue to invest to meet the needs of that wide range of players. So in 2023, Arena will refactor our new player experience to improve onboarding for new players and help them quickly find the play experiences that appeal to them the most. This will reinforce our acquisition efforts and maximize the impact of our launch on Steam, which is the biggest gaming platform in the world outside of mobile. And it will be our largest platform expansion since our mobile launch last year. We'll continue to engage new players and longtime Magic players with our expanding product releases and our event offerings, including our first digital Universes Beyond set featuring Lord of the Rings. We've seen really great engagement with our Premier Play launch this year, and 2023 will see our first full year of Arena Championships and qualifier weekends, as well as our increasingly popular Arena Opens.
Great. Thank you. And Chris, maybe this is a question for you. Inflation has been top of mind for investors, and ability to take on pricing also has been important. And we've seen kind of more traditional toy sector take on pricing throughout the pandemic, really. But as I think about kind of price elasticity of demand for Magic, in my mind at least, that is an overall less price elastic customer versus a kind of more traditional toy consumer. First, do you think my assumption is correct? Second, do you believe pricing along with unit growth could drive Magic over the next couple of years?
Yeah, I think just the straight answer to your question is yes, it tends to be a less price elastic customer, but obviously there's logical limits to that. We're very aware across our business of the pressures that the general consumer is under in the general discretionary sectors under vis-a-vis inflation. We have taken some pricing actions across our lineup at Hasbro, and this year we took a pricing action on about half of the Magic line. The first time we've done that in 10 years, and we're very reluctant to do that. We've got a great brand, we've got a great product.
Except for the fact that you can't maintain value.
There's just been a lot of cost building inside of the general paper market. Paper pulp is more expensive, significantly more expensive.
Nobody's worried about that.
Over the last couple of years.
Talk about how you're going to maintain the value of the product.
Fantasy or gamified trading cards like Magic, or more sports-oriented trading cards have seen explosive growth. So there's a fair amount of printing press demand that drives up some cost pressures. Now, all that said, when we look at how we think about growing Magic over time, Cynthia would be the expert at this, but I don't think it's about raising prices on Magic cards or raising prices on Magic cards.
Correct. It's about maintaining value of the cards that you produce.
About growing our player base.
Oh my God.
It's about leaning into our segmentation strategy and adding products that our players want and have a lot of play value and collector value. And I think Cynthia and the team have been doing a very adept job of that. Certainly, we have some of the best experts in the company driving it for us.
I'd like to
Great,
rebut
and
on
that's
that.
actually a good segue to my question for Cynthia, which is, if it isn't price, are you releasing then more product this year? Could you sort of go through pillars of growth for Magic, and if you can briefly address D&D, but then we'll get back to D&D in a bit. But if you could just sort of go through kind of those pillars of growth as you see for Magic. And I'm sorry, some of this could be a bit of a repeat of what you said earlier, Cynthia.
Absolutely fine. Our growth is coming from both our customer and product segmentation strategy, which is backed by a lot of the data and insights in the Magic's different fan bases. We have innovated and experimented more in the last 4 years than
Correct.
we did in the prior 26. As a result, we're serving more player segments than ever before. And so there's been a shift in how many SKUs we release in a year.
Yes.
So, for example, we've been on
How has that
cadence
affected the
of
company?
6 tentpole releases a year for over 3 years now. And they are major releases.
And how has that affected the company, please?
With each of the tentpole releases, we have expanded the number of
Let's go back.
product types to meet player preferences, including adding set boosters and collector boosters. And then we'll have smaller print run products sprinkled between those tentpole releases that are opt-in, depending on what type of player you are and what resonates with you. So we have a collectible product line called Secret Lair, and we do some smaller sets like Infinity that fall in that category. But if I were summarizing it, I'd say our growth has come from monetizing more player segments and not just from increasing the spend of the same core set of players. And our product release schedule really reflects that. But I will say that in the second half of 2022, we had a really compressed release schedule that was partially driven by supply chain issues. We will not schedule tentpole releases this closely together going forward. The supply chain issue I referenced resulted in 2 micro sets releasing on the same date in October. But in 2023, we will return to our preferred release cadence of approximately 2 months between our tentpole sets, with individual micro sets sprinkled in between. You asked about D&D. Really briefly, I'll say that you'll see us leaning heavily into the expansion of D&D through D&D Beyond, the acquisition that we did that closed this past May. We have about 13 million customers, registered users there that we will continue to serve by giving them more ways to express their fandom.
Fantastic. And we'll have time, hopefully, if we have time, to come back to D&D briefly after we're done sort of with Magic. But Cynthia, I have a follow-up for you. There's been this claim that you're printing too many cards. What is your one sentence answer to that, or maybe 2 sentences, whatever you prefer?
I'm going to go a little more than 2 sentences.
Yeah, I would love that.
Most of our Magic releases and our SKUs are print to demand. And this means that we print and reprint products in a set to support players and customers who want to buy it, usually to play with it. And after an initial selling period prior to the launch of a set, all reorders after that set reflect real demand. And our average post-launch sales quantities for our tentpole premiere set remained unchanged in 2022.
I would like to see the numbers on that, please.
In aggregate, there is no evidence that Magic is overprinted, and the sentiment of Magic needs to cut print runs to support prices, that's a misunderstanding of our business and our customers.
Well, then I'd like to see the numbers, please.
For a print-to-demand product rise significantly soon after launch, well, that simply means that we're not adequately meeting customer demand, and we are making millions of players unhappy at their lack of ability to acquire the cards they want to play.
So would you like to see the cost of cards online now?
No, that's really helpful. And I do want to go back briefly to distribution, Cynthia. With all this kind of player segmentation, what is the primary way you're getting Magic product into players' hands, and how that has changed versus 5 years ago?
Sure. Our partnership with the more than 6,000 global Wizards Play Network hobby stores, that is the core sales channel for our business. It accounts for up to 70% of our sales in 22 year to date. And we are really delighted that we can support those passionate local small business owners to provide unique opportunities for our fans to engage in organized play and to build community at the local level. I mean, this is really at the heart of our engagement strategy, and it has great benefits for both parties, as indicated by our survey data. Every year we carry out a survey among the WPN hobby stores, and we collected feedback this year from more than 2,200 of them. It's a large representative sample, and it gives us a really good pulse on their health. And we're pleased to see that this channel continues to grow, has strong performance. More than 80% of our stores reported that they are growing or equal to last year, and over 60% report growth in their business. Now, over the last 5 years, we've continued to evolve our omni-channel retail strategy. That involves continuing to expand our footprint at retail globally, e-commerce, as well as developing our direct-to-consumer collectible offering.
Fantastic. Cynthia, maybe this is still for you. There has been some chatter, kind of secondary market for these cards, and that values are coming down because you're printing too much. Is that something that you keep track of? Is that something that concerns you?
You know, first and foremost, Magic is a deep and strategic game that is played in hobby stores, on kitchen tables, and online. So our goal is to continue to grow that player base. And as I said previously, we print and reprint products to meet demand from our players. You know, Magic will be our first billion-dollar brand this year. And we're growing that brand ahead of the industry and pushing the boundaries of where we can take the product. More often than not, we get that right, like our Universes Beyond product, Warhammer 40K, which is already on its third reprint due to demand. And sometimes we step back and we listen to customer feedback, like we did on our recent 30th anniversary edition, where we scaled back the expected supply to assure a great collector experience. Now, that decision might not have been great for us in the short term financially, but it was definitely the right call for the long-term health of the brand, and it's good for our fans. Now, we do understand that some players focus on the collectible trading aspects of our product, and we are always thrilled to see players enjoying and valuing our product for years after the initial release. But we don't participate in secondary market activity for Magic products, nor do we derive.
Okay, they don't care whether their customers come back or not.
What we do hear from some of our WPN stores that trade and sell cards after initial sale is that, like any market or any other collectible product, some products and individual cards do become more collectible than others, and values can change over time due to a multitude of external factors.
Within weeks?
Many entirely unrelated to the number of cards printed.
Oh, no.
Now, we have
Totally
no
related to that.
indication that there has been any broad negative changes to interest in trading or post-purchase selling of Magic products.
Have you seen Commander Legends 2? You know?
With our pre-release
Who's a
sales strategy,
captain? No?
to draw a
Haven't seen your own products?
conclusion about changes in resale values shortly after the release. But the truth is that Magic products are regularly put on sale early, exclusively through our WPN stores, as part of a pre-release program that is designed to encourage in-store play.
And this is why we understand that you don't understand your product or what you actually believe people have.
Market values for those new products to shift dramatically during and immediately following pre-release.
It's not about pre-release.
Products become available in the market. Those value shifts are simply supply catching up with demand.
We're not talking about that.
I do think
that means you would be overprinting,
misunderstanding about all of this. So thank you for that.
It proves that they don't understand what they're doing.
The questions that I've been getting.
Thank you for that.
Sort of address one that also has come up. You know, talent acquisition and retention, I know, has been, and the fact that Magic has to compete with the big tech is something that Hasbro has been pretty focused on as you build those teams. I'm wondering if that has eased a bit in terms of hiring and retention, given what's going on in the big tech world.
Yeah, you know, we've hired over 350 people this year at Wizards of the Coast, and given the macroeconomic climate, we are also seeing some availability of amazing talent in the market.
And you're not hiring them because
attrition is low compared with other gaming companies. You know, people want to work at Wizards for a number of reasons. Primarily, they're working on games they love. Our games have incredibly loyal, passionate fans who are excited to work on and help shape the games that they've grown up playing. And of course, it's always great to work on a business that is growing and being invested in.
Great. And this question is perhaps both for Chris and you, Cynthia. I was wondering if you could share your vision on how you approach D&D monetization and digitization, and how that's going to be different from Magic, and really how you approach that in general. If we could give kind of an overview that here in terms of what's next for D&D and how that franchise is different from when you were looking at Magic back in 2017, 2018.
well, D&D is fantastic.
Oftentimes, the question I get from investors is, how do you digitize a game that's been around for 50 years, right? Magic, D&D is obviously older than Magic. And along with that, perhaps we can touch on how the integration of D&D and beyond is going, growth in transactions or whatever you could share.
Mind if I start?
No, go ahead.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what the hell to say.
Every time you talk about the higher rate of Wizards, I am just absolutely floored. You know, my family still lives in Seattle. I live here in Providence, and I'll go back to the Wizards offices. And it's like I'm a senior. It's like I'm a graduated senior returning the next year to high school, and I don't recognize half the class.
You just basically said there's a high turnover rate.
Contribute to that business and the great job that the team's doing growing the talent pool.
That's just.
Thank you, Chris.
I don't think you should have said that.
D&D has never been more popular, and we have really great fans and incredible engagement. But the first thing I saw with it is the brand is really under-monetized. Earlier this year, we acquired D&D Beyond, and we're really excited about the possibilities the platform provides and the positive momentum we've already seen. We made this acquisition to strengthen our connection to players and to power our next phase of product development, user acquisition, and to have live service tools through which we gain really valuable data-driven insight. And with DDB, we have a window into how fans are playing the game daily. Even if they're playing around the dining room table, many of our D&D fans use Dungeons & Dragons Beyond as a companion app on their phone to make the experience better.
Yes.
And this gives
Good
us a look
job.
at how people are playing in their homes that we never had before. And so when we think about our future monetization, we start here. You know, Dungeon Masters, which are the people who guide you through the adventure, they only make up about 20% of the audience, but they are the largest share of our paying players. For the rest of the players at the table, we believe digital will allow us to offer a lot more options to create rewarding experiences post-sale that helps us unlock the type of recurrent spending you see in digital games.
Well, it depends on how you develop it. Go like last time, it was terrible, but I have high hopes.
The speed of digital means that we were able to expand from what is essentially a yearly book publishing model to a recurrent spending environment, and we're offering content that we know fans want. So we're super excited about the type of opportunities we have with D&D to expand beyond the tabletop to reach highly engaged, multi-generational fans all around the globe.
Yeah, and I think the only thing I'd add to that answer is, you know, if you look at like a super simplified view of the strategy with the code, Magic is this super deep single quadrant brand. Does a fantastic job engaging a very loyal and passionate audience. And I think our
which you don't
strategy
talk to or know of.
that you know Cynthia and the team are really leaning into is growing that engagement and growing that player base over the next several years, so that our new player growth and our reacquired player growth are really kind of carrying the growth of the brand. And you can see that in the initiatives that we're investing in, like expanding distribution of Arena. Steam is the biggest PC distribution platform in the world. That should be a nice kind of leg up for Arena. We also continue to look at other platforms.
That'll do very little.
Consoles. That's another opportunity for that. I can't understate how important Universes Beyond is and how much early success we've seen in crossovers like we did last year with D&D, which at the time was our best-selling summer set ever. And then what we did most recently with Warhammer 40K, which, as Cynthia mentioned, is on its third demand-triggered reprint. Like, we can't keep up with the demand there. And that's just a great way to engage that Warhammer fan base in a very similarly deep and lore-rich game and get them activated with us. And we see a lot of upside to that, particularly with big mega brands like Lord of the Rings that we think will be important. And trust me, we have a lot more plans for that and some exciting news that I think we'll be able to share with our fans soon. So Magic's a deep single quadrant strategy. D&D, when I go to cocktail parties and people ask me what do I do, what I used to say is, hey, I was president of Wizards of the Coast, and they'd say, what's that? And I say, well, we make Magic Gathering and we make Dungeons and Dragons. I'd have maybe a 3 in 10 hit rate on people understanding what Magic was, but if I did, I would have an incredibly deep conversation, and the cocktail party would effectively be over for all other participants.
Oh my God.
Or like for D&D though, it was 10 out of 10. Everyone knows D&D. Everyone grew up with it in the 70s and 80s, played the video games in the 90s and
Heat wave.
and knows it's a cultural phenomenon right now.
That.
And so, like, the D&D strategy, if the Magic strategy is a deep single quadrant strategy, the D&D strategy is a broad 4-quadrant strategy where we have this powerful brand that has similar awareness to like Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter, and we're going to imbue it with blockbuster entertainment like we have with the movie coming up, true AAA high-end gaming like we're going to have with Baldur's Gate 3 next year, and then just an amazing set of products that we will activate as Hasbro across our blueprint, whether that's what we're doing at D&D Beyond, what we're doing at hobby stores with new books and accessories, or what our consumer products team and licensing team are doing to build out a host of new collectibles and toys and games for a more casual fan. So, as excited as I think Cynthia and I are for Magic's growth potential over the coming mid and long term, I think D&D could be a real new leg in the stool for our gaming portfolio as a whole and for Wizards specifically.
It always has been.
That's great. Thank you. And I promised 30 to 40-minute call, but let's take one more question, and that's it. I'm trying to actually scan some questions to make sure I'm incorporating what I'm getting by email as well. And you already addressed that in some ways, right? Next year, Hasbro has a much better film slate, including the scheduled release of Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves on March 31st, I think, 2023. How do you define success with that film outside of the obvious kind of movie proceeds and upside to that economics? What would it mean for the D&D franchise? How do you define that success?
To me, the D&D film is the first big light-up opportunity for that powerful 4-quadrant brand. The D&D film should, by all accounts, we feel like it's going to have a healthy box office. It's going to have significant marketing. Paramount, prior to the latest Transformers Rise of the Beast trailers that just released last week, D&D was on track to be one of the top viewed trailers ever by Paramount. Transformers took that honor most recently, so we're still happy about that. But I think we're going to be able to light up D&D awareness. We're going to be able to activate that awareness with those products at retail, gaming, and online. And then we're going to follow it up. We're going to follow it up with a host of video games that we license out, work with like great partners like Larian, with Baldur's Gate 3 that we develop ourselves. and then follow that up with a host of new entertainment. Like, to me,
Oh, snap.
Dungeons and Dragons is the
There we
real
go.
poster child for Blueprint 2.0. Our overall corporate engagement story,
Look at that.
which is doubling down on play, supercharging play,
So
great
beautiful.
storytelling and entertainment, and focusing on a category that we're an early leader in, the best innovator in, and have every right to win and grow our profitability and grow our return to shareholders. So consider me long on D&D.
Fantastic. That's a great
And apparently
note
short
to
on
end
Magic
this
the
call
Gathering.
on. And we are actually over 40 minutes, so I apologize for that. I think we're going to conclude the call here. Thank you so much. This was great. Chris, Cynthia, Debbie, thank you so much for making this possible. And thanks everyone for joining.
Arpina, thanks so much, and have a happy holiday.
You too. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Take care, everyone.
All right. So what'd y'all think? My personal opinion, this was kind of a let's slap ourselves on the back, create a little bit of positive PR because no other positive PR is happening. So that really wasn't really what we wanted to hear as a shareholder with Hasbro. It's kind of good with the D&D part, and I think they are underutilizing D&D. They've done that before. They've tried to utilize it once before with making video games. I remember the massively online multiplayer, but it was just a terrible game, and that was a dud. And hopefully they will actually make a game in the future that is actually really, really good. The Baldur's Gate releases are always good. People do play them. The actual movie, probably people will watch it, and whether it's successful or not is unknown. But if they actually put some money into it, it probably will be successful. However, hearing all about the Magic the Gathering stuff, and they still don't really understand how their business actually should work, and how they don't really care that they're going to lose customers because it costs a ton of money, and there's no value in a collectible card game, which doesn't make any damn sense. So if you're going to produce cards that can't carry their value, it means that they're not even looking at that. So all of that about Magic the Gathering was kind of bad in a sense because they didn't really answer any questions, and that was really what they were supposed to be doing. But it was a nice pat you on the back session for doing poorly. So that's something that I didn't want to hear. I expected them to come up with new ideas. Maybe they would actually say they're actually going to contact people who actually know the community and probably try to get some ideas from them. They didn't do that. And so that's kind of annoying. Seems like they're going to try to bail on Magic the Gathering. I think that is basically what he said. He's all in on D&D and hoping that will save Hasbro. Which, in maybe, might, you never know. So I didn't really like what I was hearing from what they were saying. That's the truth. I was hoping to hear how they're going to maybe maintain players. All they talked about was player growth, not how to maintain players. And if you can't maintain your customer base, you are doomed to fail eventually. So all that sounded really bad. Because you have to maintain your customers. That's the whole thing. Maintaining customers because you want your customers to come back. You spread the flames. So all that was kind of bad in a sense for me. It was unfortunate. Really unfortunate. So hopefully people will enjoy opening Uprising. I knew this was going to be a long video. But, you had something to listen to. And we got to enjoy a box opening, case opening. Let me turn that off. Don't really need to answer that right now. All right. So I will answer that later. Because we're almost done. In which case I can get these boxes, get ready for shipping. Ship it. But so, Well, if Dungeons and Dragons does really well, Wizards of the Coast will be fine. One of the things that I would like them to do is contact people for ideas and how to improve the thing. I've actually was thinking of an idea this morning. So you know how they printed 30th edition and that kind of stuff, which is just dumb. And I always say put it in the box. Well, if they did an Arabian Nights set and did tokens like they did with that, and then put it in the box and then made those tokens legal for standard for the entire Arabian Nights set, I believe that would actually be really good because people would get to familiar with Bazaar Baghdad's Library of Alexandria's and that kind of thing. So they could actually make Arabian Nights legal for standard for a little while. And you could play with the proxies that they put in, right? So they put them in the back and they just print the sets. And then, you know, you have libraries and bazaars of Baghdad and all that kind of stuff. Does that really violate the reserve list if you're allowed to play for proxies for a temporary period of time? And proxies that are from the box. To me, that wouldn't violate the reserve list. But that's just because even if they do violate the reserve list cards aren't going to tank like a rock. Because once they rotate out of standard, they're no longer tournament legal, right? So that would be a thing, right? So I don't know. I was thinking about that this morning, and I thought that would be a great idea for them to stimulate growth and try to maintain value, because Mark Rosewater can actually design the set to work with Arabian Nights, you know, and that'd be kind of cool. And then that would affect Legacy, right? It really wouldn't affect Modern, but it would affect Legacy, and that's where the cards are used. So there would be some changes in Legacy, and I think that would be kind of cool, and it would give them something to experiment with, to play with, and people would enjoy it. And new players would actually get to work with Bazaar Baghdad's and that kind of stuff, and have a good time with that, right? So that's what I was thinking. But nope, they do not care about secondary market. They stated that very specifically. And just because their products fail in the secondary market means that they're printing just fine. So if you go out there and look at the price points and see that boxes are extraordinarily low and you can pick them up, it's fine because they print to demand. What demand? I don't know, because they're from stores. Stores are dumping the product, yet they print it to demand. So it's clear to me that they have absolutely no idea what the hell they're doing. And that's fantastic. All right. So this is, oh, wow, we're ending with a mythic. That's awesome. There you go. Finish one. Bam. Continuing. Dun, 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 dun. All right. So I've opened them. I've extracted foils. I'm going to go ahead and get these shipped off. They paid $17.50. I may increase the price. I may do that. But they're getting these for $17. Look at all these rares they get. Oh my gosh. Totally awesome right there. All right, so hit the like button, subscribe, make a comment. We will be doing more box openings in the future, I hope. And look at all these mythics they get. That's cool. All right, hopefully, and then I got another marble in this set. Got the cold foil heat wave, one majestic foil. There you go. That's what I get. Craziness, and all these other foils too. So there you go. All right, so hit the like button, subscribe, make a comment, and I will talk to you again on the next one. All right. Ba-ba-da. Hope you enjoyed.